Hey guys, I'm Alana from Win Win.
I'm Jess from Win Win.
And I'm Elizabeth from Win Win.
And welcome to today's episode of Insights from 3 Mining Recruiters' Perspective, where, as usual, we're going to go over all the questions that you ask us throughout the week or whatever. So if you've got any questions, chuck them in the comments section below. All right, let's talk about one of the questions that came up this week was all about couples and how can I get on the same swing with my partner? That's basically one of the questions that we had. So Jess, what is your answer for that?
My answer usually is whoever's the most experienced and most likely to get a job on site, whichever one of you it is that has the operating experience, or the chef or the tradie or whoever you are that has the most experience, start applying for everything. Obviously, both have your resumes up to scratch. Get that person to start applying for everything. Once they get a job and they're on site, you might have to spend a few swings away from each other. Sorry if you have to hold each other's hands every day. And then once that person is set up and on site and make some connections, then you start applying through them. You find out what like labour hire companies they use. You find out what company they're working for. You go through and then you start applying specifically to that site. Eventually it will work out and you can change swings, but it's not something that you want to be demanding up front, because you just make yourself too hard a candidate and the recruiters will just be like, nah, it's not even worth having that experienced person because this is going to be too hard.
Yeah, spot on, 100%. Anything to add, Lizzie?
No, Jess covered it all.
It's pretty straightforward, that one. All right, we get this question all the time about visas. So obviously there's the elbows letting everyone in at the moment, chucking visas left, right and center. So how do mining companies go with taking on people who have visas? Anyone want to take that one?
Well, it depends on what visa you're on to start with. From experience, I know some I have worked with on like this 777s and things like that. You've got different categories. But then if you are on a shorter visa, Jess was saying earlier, like, we think that it's probably better that you go for a labour hire company instead of actually going for the company itself. It also depends on your skill set. If you are a mechanical fitter or something like that, whether they're going to take you on as well. So I think every company has got its different requirements for visas, and you've got so many different visas out there now as well. So I'll leave it short so you can add to it.
Yeah, spot on. I don't think there's really much more to add with that one. But yeah, the labour hire companies, as we mentioned, are more likely to actually take people on than as opposed to the BHPs of the world or whatever. But again, it depends on what your trade is as well. So if you come over and you're an HD fitter, basically they will be throwing jobs at you. So it really depends. If you're going for an entry level role, it can be a little bit more tricky. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, let's talk about underground truck driving roles, production truck driving roles, surface truck driving roles, or civil truck driving roles. This is something that people ask us all the time, like, what's better, what pays the most, blah, 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 or what job, which one do you think I should go for? And that's like a real thing of perspective. Like, some people hate underground. I would never work underground, full stop, but some people love it. So it really, really depends. Yeah, and then again, surface as well. That's a bit of a loaded question. If you're going into production, obviously that's like a little bit more stock standard. If you're going to go and drive trucks in let's say the civil industry, then you've got more chance of it never going autonomous, which is one of the perks of civil, and they pay a ton more money. So there are so many different options when it comes to truck driving roles, that it really depends on what your goals are, how much money that you want to make, and what sort of trucks do you want to drive, because the underground trucks are so much different towards as opposed to like the big production, big trucks and stuff like that. And then the civil ones, you've still got all your Moxies predominantly, and you can have your 777s and stuff like that. But yeah, it just really depends. But I love civil. I worked in civil, and I always say, go civil. There's so much more variety in the job. You get to go to all the different sites. They can never make it autonomous. So that's one thing. You see all the BHPs now having all these autonomous trucks and stuff like that. And that trend is going to just keep continuing, but it's never going to be like that in civil. So that's where I say go civil. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I
Definitely
agree.
My cousins work underground, and she's a supervisor for operators, and she said, look, you definitely want to get in a civil role where you need a man to control your machines, because she said it's all going to be autonomous where they are soon. She said, get your bum in a machine that's going to be human operated.
Definitely. Yeah. And like, I mean, underground, people are like, oh, should I go underground? I'm like, that really depends on you. Like, do you want to be in a big giant black hole or like for, 12 hours at a time and then, come up and, finally get some fresh air or whatever, I think underground as well, there's that factor where it's a little bit more dangerous. So it just really depends. If you want to go underground, like a lot of people love it, but it's not for everyone. I went underground one time just to have a little tiki tour, and I was like, nah, no thanks. And the shift boss was like, oh, do you want a job? Hell no way. So yeah, it really, really depends. All right, let's talk about the different categories of HR driver's licenses. So why would you get an auto over a synchromet or road ranger, like AB or whatever? What do we choose, and why would you need specific licenses? Who wants to take that one?
Not me.
Well, it depends on it. Again, it depends on what role you're doing. Like I think HR, like, because it covers more.
Yeah.
If you're like, so you've got your automatic and everything like that, well, it's just like having a car license, really. Like, why would you go and get your automatic when you can go get your C class and you need to learn how to drive a car properly? But anyway, definitely the HR, just because it covers, but then you've got your HR, your HC and what have you for your road trains and things like that. So if you're going to be driving tippers and things like that, definitely. But I guess know what you're going to go for before you actually apply. And just blindly go out and say, oh, I think I'll just go get this automatic truck driving license, and then all the jobs that you're going for require HR.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
I think at a very minimum, okay, your C-class driver's license is fine for a lot of roles, but if you don't have any other operating experience and you're trying to go for a truck driving role or even an offsiders role, just a standard and not an auto, please don't get an automatic license.
Yeah, autos, yeah, they're easy to get and they're way cheaper and you can do it quicker. But seriously, there are some sites where you need the actual manual. So you need the B or you need the like Road Ranger gearbox. So I always say just go get the one that can give you the most amount of options. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, cool. Anyone else? pretty covered. All right, let's talk about what references can you use when you are putting them onto your resume, which we always say do put references on every single time. Anyone?
Your supervisor, and just covered it before, talking about what would you use, your recruiter or your supervisor? I think they're both awesome. Either's good to use because they both know you, but your supervisor probably knows you a little bit better and would know your work grade. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the supervisor. Look, your recruiter, I'm sure, could give you a great reference if you've always turned up to work on time, you've always flown out or, gone to work. But I think your supervisors are the one that are going to be able to answer those questions. What can you operate? What were you like to work with? Did you get along with everybody? Yeah, I think definitely your supervisor. I think you can probably use like a supervisor, a manager, an owner, any of that type of person is ideal. But failing that, a lot of people we talk to say, oh, that company's closed down now. Like none of them, that work there. I can only get some, like a work colleague. I don't know. What are your thoughts on a work colleague, Alana?
Basically, I say no deal on that one. Like that should be a very, very, very last resort. Like when it comes to references, you want somebody who's generally like slightly above you in ranking. So you can even use your safety officer. You can use your 2IC. You can use your supervisor, your superintendent, the owner of the company. There's so many different people that you can actually use instead of like oh, well, he drives trucks with me, so I've used old mate over there. It doesn't count, like, you know, because you could basically put anyone down on there. So it needs to be someone who can actually vouch for you, and they were senior above what you were doing, full stop. Even use your safety people. There's always ways around it. But again, if you don't really have a work history, you can actually use one personal reference. But I generally I say, look, you know, pretty much that's again last resort stuff. So there's always somebody that you can find. So you think outside the box when it comes to references. And again, like what we always say, put them on your goddamn resume, like without a doubt, because when shortlisting for jobs, so many people are like, I don't want to put my references on. And it's like, you can do references by request, but once you've sent that resume off and you start getting shortlisted, the next process from the recruiter's perspective is calling to verify your work history with your references. So it just speeds up your onboarding process. So if you want to be like, you know, have it, you fall into the too hard basket because the recruiter has to chase you for information, then fine, don't put your references on. But other than that, put them on, full stop. Cool. Yeah. All right, let's talk about what are the easiest jobs to get in the mining industry for entry-level positions. Who wants
utility?
Utilities.
Yep. And why are utility jobs so awesome, guys?
They're amazing.
Because it's a foot in the door.
Yep.
It's a foot in the door and it's a job. You just go to work and you go home, or you go to the wedding. Like there's no real stress in the job. You just go to work and you go home. It's great. It's pretty good money. I think it's awesome. It's an awesome foot in the door. You make some awesome friends. Yeah, I think it's
yeah. And you know what? A lot of people come to us and they're like, I want a job. I want to run my first mining job, blah, 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 but I will not do a utility role. And I'm like, what? I'm like, get your foot in the door in any capacity possible, right? Utility jobs are not necessarily the final destination. They are the first step into opening up your world of mining. And that's where you get your foot in the door. You work out, oh, what are all these cool jobs, instead of going, no, I'm putting all my hopes on getting a process operator role or a warehousing role for you to then get up to site and not like doing the job. And seriously, like I always say to people, the best place to get a high-paying FIFO job is in any capacity of you being out on site. And we've seen people, including Lizzie's cousin, who came to us and he wanted his first FIFO job. We helped him to get it, sorted out his resume, and a couple of days later, he's getting poached by the client. And he's like, what should I do? I just got offered this job. And I was like, take it, it's more money. So yeah, utility roles, they might not pay the most for the beginning, but still they are awesome at you know, to help you to be in the right place. Let's also talk about another awesome entry-level job, which is a driller's offsider role. You would have seen the driller's offsider post that I did on the YouTube channel, if that's how you're watching this. Obviously it is. Drillers offsider, so easy to get into. They are screaming for drillers offsiders. They've got ads over on the East Coast saying, we will pay for your flights to come to WA to work as a driller's offsider. So for that, you need your HR driver's license, police certificate, first aid certificate, and white card. Generally, you might need a few other tickets, but those are the main ones. So if you want your driller's offsider role, again, at least get the HRB license, because those trucks, they are manuals in most cases. So that can be another awesome job as well, to get your exposure to driving trucks. So then potentially you can go on and work out and get another truck driving job. So yeah, that is one of the best ones. And of course, traineeships. Who wants to take that one? Yes.
Traineeships are awesome. It depends. There's so many traineeships now. Like, honestly, all you have to do is jump. There's everything. There's like MMU operators, there's process operators, process technicians, dump truck operators, which seems to be, I don't know if that's just the only job that anyone's ever heard of these days, but we get like 20 a day. Like, I'm an accountant, I want to be a dump truck operator.
Yeah.
They're awesome roles, and they're not for everybody. And that's why we always say, start off in an offsiding or a utility role, which may be what some people call the shit kicker roles, but you actually then get to have your foot in the door, and then actually have your hands in and see what you want to do. You might see people operating dump trucks and go, oh, that is so boring, I could not do that for 12 hours a day. You know, you might want to be a driller, or you might want to go and do something else. So I think just getting in at that ground, figuring out what you want to do would be awesome.
Definitely. So And it comes down to as well, know what job that you want. Like, not everyone's suited to, like you say, sitting on your ass for 12 hours, like driving at 60 Ks up and down, not everyone's suited to drillers offsider roles. So if you need like I'm talking to you people, if you need help to work out what job is actually right for you, get in contact with our team, info@winwin.com.au. We can actually go through a career session with you to work out what it is that your goals are, what you want to achieve, what you need, potential qualifications that you need to get, so that you don't go wasting your money getting every ticket under the sun to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go get my tipper truck and water car and serviceman and excavator and loader and dozer ticket because I want to go drive excavators, and that'll be my first job going into the mining industry. It does not happen. Right? And again, last week had a lady who was I hope she's not watching this, but she comes in and she from a finance background, and she was like, I just paid for this ticket and that ticket and that ticket, water cart ticket. I want to go be a water cart operator. She didn't even have the HR license. So for me, I'm like, that's just a waste of money. And this is where everyone knows my pet peeve is people spending a ton of cash on qualifications that they are useless qualifications. In most cases, you don't need them. So if you're contemplating doing that, come and have a chat to our team first. We're more than happy to do a free 20-minute career session with you to work out what it is that you should be going for or what jobs suit your personality, and then develop a plan for you. It's that simple. So yeah, that's it. Anyone got anything else to add for this week's episode? No. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, great job, ladies. Thanks for coming, having a chat as usual. And if you need any help getting into the mining industry, getting a kick-ass resume, learning how to get jobs without applying, that's a real thing, get in contact with our team. Shoot us a comment in below to see what it is that you want. Do you need help with anything? We can do a video just for you. So thanks for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you at next week's episode of Insights. Thanks. Bye.